Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. It is always a pleasure to review the Legal Action Group's publications. Very grateful that they send them to us. LAG is the Access to Justice charity, and they do wonderful work for us at all levels, both as practitioners, as judges and as unrepresented parties. This particular book, which I've reviewed before over the years now, is the Legal Aid Handbook. It's for the year 2018 to 19. Been a slight change in who's been involved with it. It's now edited by Vicky, Ling, Simon Pugh and Sue James, and with a contribution from Anthony Edwards. And as I say, what I did like about it is, of course, you have got a companion website to go with the handbook itself. There's a little bit of a misunderstanding about what's happened with legal aid. There have been big cuts, certainly, but there is still a large amount of legal aid out there. It's a very substantial budget, so it's important to bear in mind what the current rules are. Now, the title that Elizabeth and I have given for this review is the following: Indispensable to Civil and Family Practitioners. LAG's Legal Aid Handbook is out now in a new edition. It's actually I'm not sure what number edition it is, but it's an annual publication anyway. Let's have a look at the book. It's a paperback, very much the style of LAG. There's the actual title there, and you can see the names of the people. You've got the it's probably easy to do it that way. That's the spine. Then on the back you've got some quotes from various people and some detail about the book, and it mentions the website at the back. It's legalaidhandbook.com, and it's well worth using that as part of the book. Now, the book itself, there's the index at the back. It's the shaded area, you can see there, and it's by paragraph numbering. You can see that. The book runs to 600 pages, just over. What we have got after the index, I'll just get to the front of the index here. There's the, actually I haven't got to the front of the index, there's the index there. Then you've got the appendices. There aren't very many of them, they're quite small. You can see that's Appendix E, and that just gives some figures on payments and so forth. I'll talk about the appendix in a moment. Let's get to the front of the book. There's the front, there's the bit about the website, and there's the main front page, which gives you an idea of where we are at the moment. Then there's the blurb about Legal Action Group. And this is dedicated to the memory of Andrew Wilson, and do have a look at that dedication. It's important. A lot of people put a lot of effort into these books, and I think it's important that you see everything that's said. Then there's a very useful preface which runs in, and that comes from the editors. Then you're into the contributors themselves, explaining who they are. I met some of them, very, very nice people, very well qualified, I would say, to write this work, because one of the problems at the moment is that there has been a very substantial cut in legal aid, and as a result it's caused a lot of problems, not just for the recipients who no longer get the money, but also for us as practitioners. There's the contents section there, which is quite important, and they do have the first chapter saying read this bit first, so you know how to get around the book. You can see it's a substantial book in terms of numbers. It's still got the merits test, which I think is quite helpful, because I use that sometimes in my opinions, because I always think the merit test is a very good way of getting some sort of sense into exactly where one is going with a particular case. And what I did like also is advocacy in legal aid cases, which I thought was quite helpful. We've also got, right at the end, there are 23 chapters, and the last chapter is on policy, probably looking at where we might be going. I don't know where we're going at the moment, but clearly there will be further changes. Then, surprise, surprise, the first annex or appendix is on LASPO, Legal Aid Sentencing and Punishment of Offenders. Now, I'm recording this in the autumn of 2018, and the Ministry of Justice are currently doing a fairly substantial review of the effect of LASPO, because there have been effects. And as I present this review, we are apparently coming to the end of the age of austerity, according to the Prime Minister, October 2018, so we will see what happens. There's a list of cases, and then after the cases you've got statutes. Then you've got some statutory instruments there. Then, of course, you've got some European and international material. Then a very useful glossary, which in fact is always helpful because there are lots of funny words that crop up and sometimes an abbreviations. And, you know, it is difficult to know sometimes what they're talking about. Mackenzie advisor, for instance. A person who is present at a hearing to advise and assist but not to represent a party. So you've got a definition there. Legal aid and advice and litigation is the first part. Then you've got a mini index for the chapter. And then, of course, you go straight into it. How legal aid works and how this book works, basically running all the way through. You can see, again, there is paragraph numbering at the sides, and you've obviously got footnoting there. And a very helpful book altogether. It does, I think, assist many people, certainly counsel, who are involved in legal aid matters. More generally speaking, quite a few of the more junior end of the bar. And this book, I think, is a tremendous help to everybody, and should certainly, if someone is thinking of seeking legal aid assistance, this book must be something they would have a look at. So what do we say about the book? Well, over a decade has passed since the Legal Action Group started publishing what is now a long-established Legal Aid Handbook. There can be no doubt that the number of readers, practitioners and lay readers alike, who have benefited from its specialist content and advice now number in several thousands, virtually all of whom have commended the grace and clarity with which it is written. And that's very much down to the team of writers who are impressive people. They know exactly what they're talking about. And the sort of assistance they're giving us is really wonderful. I can't thank them enough. Like previous editions, this new edition has been brought completely up to date by an expert team of contributors, including the editors, Vicky, Ling, Simon Pugh and Sue James, together with Anthony Edwards. And as Simon Pugh ends his association with the handbook as the general editor, Sue James now takes over the role. And interestingly, she was named Legal Aid Lawyer of the Year with an Outstanding Achievement Award. So well done to her. All 9 contributors together offer a wealth of experience and expertise in virtually all matters relating to legal aid and access to justice. And as I've indicated, these contributors know what they're talking about, and this information is extremely helpful, and the book is not expensive either, so you can find what you're looking for, and it's reasonably easy to read. We think, say the editors, that the new handbook is bigger and better than ever, containing as it does much new material. Of course, thank you for that. Of special interest, of course, to civil practitioners are the new chapters on community care and CCMS, that's Client Cost Management System. Now, community care is an important and growing area, and it's not going to go away, so do pay attention to that one. There's, of course, LAG's system, the Legal Aid Group's approach to the whole subject by the house style that they've adopted with this book. And what I would say here is that the book is extremely helpful if you are managing civil cases and dealing with providers and providing a conduit for claims and for submissions. So therefore there's a lot of common sense in the book, which I'm sure you will find helpful. It's in one convenient volume, and the handbook presents virtually all aspects of what is a complex and often vexed and controversial subject, on which recent historical perspectives are also offered, one of which, obviously, was the withdrawal of legal aid in the majority of civil and family disputes, primarily in the teeth of the recession some 10 years ago in 2008. Now, there's still, however, around 40 billion left in the budget, and the matter of who is eligible to claim and under what circumstances is discussed in all the necessary detail in the handbook. And as I say, one of the problems has been very much the very substantial cuts that the Ministry of Justice took, and we're still waiting to see what will come at the other end. So this handbook for this year gives us the current position, but I suspect there may well be changes in the future. And as has been the case with other legal action group publications, the primary aim behind the creation of this particular handbook is to make it understandable and accessible to any readers who may need to represent themselves in court due to a lack of legal aid funding. And I think that is important, because one of the beauties of all of the LAG publications is that they are works you can understand. And I can't say that that's the case for a lot of legal publications, including the White Book and the Family Court Service. I'm familiar with those books because I practice, but to someone coming new to it, it really is a daunting task. So thank you for making it simple. Now, and speaking of convenience and accessibility, the beauty of this book is that it keeps readers bang up to date with the latest developments in the area of law. And you've got the website. It's carefully structured, of course, for ease of use, with a detailed table of cases and index to facilitate looking things up, plus 5 appendices, and the paragraphs, of course, are numbered throughout. And for further reference, the book also provides tables, namely of cases, statutes and statutory instruments, and of course European and international legislation. So anyone involved in the legal aid process of whatever level, whether being a litigant in person, a seasoned practitioner or so forth, will find this latest edition from the Legal Action Group absolutely indispensable. A great big thank you to everybody concerned. The publication date is cited as at 2018. It came out in the middle of the year, and I'm recording this, as I say, in October 2018, when an announcement was made only a few days ago that we are at the end of the current policy of austerity, and things, I believe, will change quite substantially as we move towards Brexit Day in a few months' time next year. Then things will obviously, we'll be having a very different look at where we stand, basically with the money, the overall budget. And I'm hoping that the Ministry of Justice budget will actually expand a bit, obviously in newer areas, and there will be a fresh approach to aspects of legal aid where I think some people have actually been hurt, and that has been a problem. Of course, the main role of LAG as an access to justice charity is to try to assist. They do it admirably, and a big thank you to everybody concerned. Bye bye.